What is up, guys? It's Dan the Man, and today I'm back with the last round of Chess Zone's June Action Tournament. And going into round 4, I have a score of 1 out of 3 with 2 draws and a loss. In the previous game, we got a very bland game against Magnolia Zhu, where we just played a very uninteresting Scotch Gambit line. We got into a really early endgame, played perfectly, each of us, and it just liquidated very quickly. So I knew my rating was in some trouble, some jeopardy. Probably was expecting to lose like 20 points if the tournament had ended before round 4. So round 4 had to be a must-win game. And in round 4, I'm paired against Aditya Bang, rated 1942. Now what's weird is that I had 1 out of 3 and he had 0.5 out of 3, which is kind of unusual because usually throughout the tournament you play people that have the same score as you per round. So I was a bit surprised that I played someone that's not having 1 out of 3, but whatever. At least it's not an 1800, right? So it's at least someone that's a 1900, someone that I can, if I win against, can absorb some rating from. So that was my mission. Like, okay, we're going to win this game, and we're just going to stop the bleeding on our rating. I knew I was going to lose rating anyway, but I just wanted to minimize it. So I had the white pieces, and Aditya Bang had the black pieces. We last played against each other before I even started the channel when we were like 1300, so it's been a long time, and see how things have changed. So I have the white pieces. I begin the game with e4. He plays the Caro-Kann defense, c6, d4, d5, knight c3, d captures on e4, knight takes e4, knight f6. For a moment, I was wanting to do the alien gambit with knight g5, but that would be too cheeky and stupid in a classical game, so I just do the knight f6 line. Knight takes f6, e takes f6, knight f3, bishop d6. This is typical theory, just very simple gameplay. Develop your pieces, castle, castle, and bishop to g4. This is all book. h3. And here I was expecting him to just maintain the pin with bishop h5. And he spent a bit of time here, but eventually he decided to go back to e6, which looked a bit odd, but okay. So after bishop e6, not like a horrible move or anything, it's just a bit weird, I go with knight d2. This is, I play this very awkward-looking move. And my idea is that, okay, there's better moves in the position. Rook e1, c3, c4, but I was, for some reason, worried that black would put the queen on d7 and sacrifice on h3, which I have absolutely no reason to be afraid of. So I should have just played a normal move, but my idea with knight d2 is that if queen d7, I would play queen f3 and defend the pawn. So that was one of my ideas with this move. The second idea is that I'm just rerouting it to e4, so actually looking at it a second time, it's not a totally questionable move that makes you scratch your head and wonder what I'm doing with this move. It actually has some sense to it. I'm just rerouting the piece and also some prophylaxis behind it. So here Stockfish is saying the top move is bishop c7, probably just not wanting to get hit with tempo when I put the knight on e4. But here Aditya makes a mistake. I guess my knight d2 move turned out to be brilliant because I got him to make a mistake here. He played the move c5, and he's trying to attack my center, but I realized that this move is bad because I take on c5. I have 57 minutes here, and after bishop takes c5, he had 56 minutes here, and I already have a plus 1.4 advantage. And here, what's weird is that I actually play a bit too fast. I pretty much, within 10 seconds, played knight e4. But then a while later, while he was thinking about where to move his bishop, I realized that I had a better move, and I worried that I could have just won a piece out of the early middle game if I had taken my time. And while I don't win a piece, it's still the best move, and I still end up in a much better position. And that move is queen h5. I realized I should have played queen h5 a couple minutes after I played knight to e4. And I'm like, shoot, I should have slowed down and paused a bit. Like, oh my god, I missed a winning chance. And I thought I was winning a piece here because, well, I'm forking checkmate and the bishop on c5. And black's only way to deal with that is f5 to close the diagonal and close the rank. And I thought that I should have just went into this line. Bishop takes f5, maintaining the checkmate threat. And I was actually looking at the analysis. I realized that, wait, maybe black has a fork with g6. But then you can just take this and have a discovery on this bishop. So even though I'm not winning a piece, like I said, I'd still be ending up in a much, much better position. So Aditya would have to desperado to get a pawn for his bishop. I'd take back. And when the dust settles, I'm +2. And this is a very, very good position for white. So again, I should have paused, but I instead play the instinctive knight e4 because that was my whole idea. It wasn't even queen h5 wasn't even on my radar yet. So I went knight e4. Apparently he should play knight d7 and try to give me the bishop pair, but that doesn't seem right. He moved the bishop to b6 to try to preserve his bishops. And now, seeing that I should have played queen h5 a move ago, I capitalize on his mistake, and I play it now. And it still has the same effect, because his king's a bit lonely over there. There's not really any pieces defending it, and I already have some sort of attack going on. Like, knight takes f6 is already a checkmate threat, just opening up the attack on h7. So, black has to deal with that very promptly in order not to get obliterated. So after queen h5, I was actually expecting maybe knight d7 to be played, and with the idea that if knight takes f6, you take with the knight. But here Stockfish is going crazy. It says I can play knight g5, threatening the checkmate like this, and you're just going after the bishop and the pawn on h7, and you're just going to be weakening black's king. So he didn't play knight d7. He played the better move g6. I mean, I'm still way, way better because his king is weak, but this was way better than the knight d7. So after g6, I picked the correct queen move. Any other queen move lets black get back into the game. So I play queen h4, just maintaining an attack on f6, making space for my bishop to come in here at some point. And black's king is feeling a bit exposed. It's feeling a bit airy with all the open weaknesses around his king. So now he played knight d7, and here I play the very human bishop h6, and for some reason Stockfish frowns upon this move. It says that this is a mistake, but it's only a mistake if black plays the move f5 here, which is kind of ridiculous. Like, this is only bad if black plays f5. If he saves the rook normally, it's like what Aditya did in the game. It's just totally winning for me. And the line here for black to be okay is after f5, hitting my queen and hitting the knight. I don't really want to trade queens and fizzle out the attack, so I'd have to go here. Knight g5. Rook e8 to save the rook now. And then bishop b5, trying to pin the knight to the rook on e8 and just kind of cramp black's position. And apparently this is only +1. Instead of bishop h6, the engine wanted me to play rook d1 for some reason, which is kind of interesting, because the engine's saying you play rook d1 first, and then after bishop d5 or something, then you play this. And apparently playing bishop h6 at this moment is better than playing it a move earlier, which is kind of crazy. And if they go f5 now, then you still go knight g5, and if they save the rook, then you go bishop b5. And I guess that point is that you have more pressure on the d file than before, so that's interesting. Very, very interesting. But I didn't see that. I went bishop h6. I thought this was like an autopilot move, just attack the rook. Again, f5 is the top move of the computer, but he didn't do that. He played rook e8, the human move. And here, the engine's saying to go knight d6, which is what I was looking at. But I'm like, okay, the rook's going to move to e7, and then what am I going to do after that? The knight defends f6, so it's not like I can take. So that was kind of odd. If knight d6, rook e7, the engine just says, keep the knight there and then put the rooks on the center files. But I was looking at knight takes b7 here, trying to gain material, but then queen c7, and then your knight's kind of stuck. So that would be a bit of an issue right there. So I didn't play knight d6 because I'm like, what does that do? I can't even take anything. Which is why I played the human move. I played bishop b5, and my idea is to just try to remove the knight from defending f6. Because I would eliminate the defender and have one more attacking piece than black has defenders with bishop b5. So I'm just trying to weaken his king. Now the best move for him is, which he finds, is bishop d5 with the idea to hit my knight on e4. And if I take on d7, he takes on e4. And actually, I'd be in some trouble because I'd have my queen hit and my bishop on d7 would still be hanging. So I can't take the knight, actually. So after bishop d5, I play the move. I was thinking about knight d6 again here. But again, after the rook moves, what does that do? It's just a one-move threat. So I played the much stronger knight c3, attacking the bishop. The bishop moved to c6. And for a bit of time here, I was thinking about trading the bishops or maybe moving the bishop here to try to maintain an attack in the diagonal. I was also thinking about maybe bringing the rook over and keeping the tension. So I was kind of juggling those things in my mind. So here I had like 5-minute advantage on time. And I eventually go with rook a d1. And I wanted to keep the tension because if the bishop takes here, knight takes b5, I'm getting my knight into that supreme outpost on d6, and this would just be really good for me. That knight on d6 now would be really powerful. So I was sort of waiting for him to take, and also just building up some pressure on the center. So here, he should play the move bishop c7 according to Stockfish, but he played the move bishop c5, trying to go back to f8 and try to eliminate my powerful bishop, but the engine says this is wrong. And it's wrong if I play bishop takes c6, b takes c6, queen c4 to hit the bishop and hit the pawn on c6. And the threat is right now rook takes knight, queen takes, and then queen takes c5. So there's a lot of threats against black here. Black would have to play rook e5 to hold everything together. And then you'd play b4, force the bishop away, and then take on c6 in the end of this. So I would be winning a pawn after some of these moves. But I played queen c4 first, and I thought this move was very clever. I play it first. And apparently this is wrong because black can play queen c8 or queen c7, which is actually what Aditya does to his credit. He plays queen c7, and first, let me just explain queen c4. I'm just trying to attack all of black's pieces. Like, I'm threatening right now, bishop takes c6, pawn takes, rook takes knight. Well, let me just show a line. So if he goes like a6, I'm just winning material out of the gates. Here, 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 here. I'd be winning 2 minor pieces for the rook, which is more than enough to win. So that's my threat in the position. I'm just threatening to gain a lot of material here. But he actually played queen c7, which is actually very clever. And if I try the same thing, if I try bishop takes c6, queen takes c6, and if I try this, all of a sudden, he has this move. And he's lining up on my queen on the c-file. And because my bishop is no longer defending, remember my bishop was defending my queen on b5. Remember, when the bishop's gone, my queen's now undefended. So if I try to win material, black plays the Uno reverse card on me, plays bishop f2, rook takes f2, queen takes c4, and then I'll just be totally losing. Same thing if I try it this way. If I try rook takes d7, bishop takes d7, bishop takes d7, again, the same thing. You lose your queen here because the queen's no longer defended. So this is actually a really cool move to prevent my idea. So here Stockfish is saying I should have played b4 here, but I play like the third best move in the engine. I play knight d5. Also, I saw the bishop takes f2 discover check stuff, and I was thinking about b3 with the idea that I keep all the threats on the board, and my queen's defended now. But that would give black time to consolidate and defend all of his pieces on the queen side, and I wouldn't be gaining anything. So I refrained from doing that. So after a bit of time, I played knight d5, and that's just a very powerful knight. And black can't afford to take either my bishop or my knight because my queen would get really active. The best move for black is queen a5. But Aditya plays bishop takes knight, and now I'm +3. It's like totally over for him. So I play bishop takes d5, rook takes d5, just activating another piece. There's a lot of pressure on this knight. There's a lot of pressure on this bishop over here. Like, black is almost about to lose a piece here. So here he played the move rook on a to d8. And I play b4. And here after b4, I thought I was winning a piece. Because the bishop's pinned. There's no bishop takes f2 tactics because my queen's still defended thanks to my bishop on b5. And if the bishop goes to d6, I would trade queens and then take the knight on d7. Same thing with bishop to b6. So I thought, okay, we're just going to win a piece here. Like, what's black going to do? And then he played the move a6. He's finding a lot of these clever defensive resources. He's still totally losing, but at least he's making it kind of tricky. And if a6 happens, again, we go into the same line. Sorry about that. If a6, if I try to take this knight, there's again bishop takes f2 stuff, which is really annoying. So, yeah, I can't take this. And if I try this move, then he just takes this. It's just an exchange sacrifice for no reason. And I can't take this because of bishop f2. So there's constant bishop f2 threats are what is preventing me from winning material. So, but then I see something after a long time. I was first thinking to just take this pawn and eliminate and then just take on c5. But I'm like, I surely have something better than that, right? And then I start to scan the board some more. And then I do realize that I have a better move. And that move is rook takes c5. And the idea is that if the knight takes, I just take on e8, and because the knight is replacing the bishop, there's no discoveries. And if the bishop is taken, like in the game, then I just take his queen, he takes my queen, and this is a +5 endgame, apparently. But apparently, I have to play the move rook d1 here, just pinning the knight to the rook. Rook takes b7 is also acceptable, but for some reason, rook takes c4 drops like half the advantage, which I don't really understand. It's not +2.8 versus +5, so apparently I should have taken the b7 pawn instead of this one. I don't really know why. That's kind of odd. So after rook takes c4, I had 29 minutes, and after knight e5, he had 19 minutes, so he's starting to get low on time. So after knight e5, I play rook c7, attacking the pawn. He goes rook a8 to try to create some counterplay on my a file. And here I should have just taken the pawn on b7, but I didn't want the rook to come in with counterplay, and I didn't feel like I had to take it right away. I also could have played the move b5, which is kind of cool. And the idea of b5 is that I'm threatening f4. And the knight is just totally trapped. Like f4 right here, and the knight's stuck. So I could have threatened to trap his knight, actually. So I play f4 first, and the problem with that is that the knight goes to c6, and that was the point of b5, to try to trap the knight. And I thought this was still fine because, I can do a multitude of things here. I can take on b7, I can play b5 now. I thought I can play c3 to defend my pawn on b4. But here I play a pretty cool move. I play f5, leaving like two of my pawns to hang, but I'm just trying to open this f-file up towards black's king here. And apparently the stockfish is saying it's only +1, which is kind of crazy. Knight takes b4, f takes g6, h takes g6, rook takes b7 now. I realized that I can't go here like originally I wanted to because he has a fork. So I realized that, and I didn't play rook takes f6. And so here I play rook takes b7. And again, I'm selling another endgame. It was like +4, +5, as you guys saw, and now it's only +1. So after rook takes b7, I'm still better, but not nearly as much. I'm letting black equalize here, as usual. So after knight d5 to defend his f6 pawn, I go with c4 to kick the knight. And here he played the best move. He played rook e7, hitting my rook and also having that defended by the knight. Here's a crazy line that I plugged in. He could have theoretically played rook takes a2, which no human does, giving up the knight completely, and then going with the other rook to e2. And apparently black's rooks on the second rank create just enough counterplay for me not to even be winning. So a sample line, not that he would ever do this, but this is just cool what Stockfish is saying. Sample line could be rook takes f6, rook takes g2, king f1, and then if I think that if I think that he has no more checks in the position, he has this move, rook h2, and threatening checkmate over here. And I have to basically go back here to stop the checkmate, and then he just plays check and then goes back to h2, and it'll be a draw, which is kind of ridiculous. Alternatively, if I played bishop f4 to try to cover this square in h2, rook takes g2, king h1, g5 to bully the bishop to kick it away, bishop to b8 to maintain an eye on the h2 square, and then he'd play rook g d2, attacking my pawn on d5. So I'd have to defend, and then he can play king h7. He can just do whatever he wants because I can't really move anything. Because if I move my rook away, he has checkmate on the back rank. This bishop has to guard h2. My rook has to guard b5, so I can't really make any progress here. I'm sort of stuck. But there's no way that Aditya would have played this. Let's be real. So rook e7, I go with rook b2 with the idea that I defend my a-pawn and also the knight's still hanging. He plays knight c3, and here he had 4 minutes on the clock. He spent at least 5 minutes on knight c3. I wasn't really sure why he didn't play it faster. And here he was running low on time, and I had 20 minutes, so I was doing much better than him on time. Knight c3. I play rook takes f6. He plays knight takes a2. And here I saw that his knight was a bit stranded, so I played rook f3, and now the knight is dominated. It can't get out. So here he plays king h7. He's blitzing these moves because he only has 2-3 minutes now. I play bishop g5 to attack the rook. The rook goes to c7. I play rook f4 with the idea to checkmate the king. Rook h4 followed by bishop f6. He goes with knight c3. I indeed play rook h4 check. King g7. And here, at some point around here, he pressed the clock with 1 second left. And I thought he would flag, but he pressed it with 1 second left and was, for the last few moves, he was riding on 10 seconds of time, which is kind of crazy. His heart must have been beating like crazy. So after king g7, I play the move rook b6. This is by far the cleanest way to win. If I had tried to threaten bishop f6 another way, that would allow black to defend on the 6th rank. So I play rook b6 to stop that, to stop any sort of defense. So I go with rook b6. He throws in a desperate check. I go here. Knight d1 check. King g3. Rook a3 check. Just duck the king back to h2. Black is out of checks. His king is about to get checkmated thanks to my bishop and my rooks. He tries to flee with king f8. But here that doesn't really do anything because I play rook h8 check. The king only has one move. And I end the game with bishop to f6 checkmate. And we end the tournament with a win. We end it with the cherry on top. We end it with the frosting. And that was really good to finish the tournament off on a win. Don't get me wrong, I still lost some rating. And if you take a look at the accuracy, I had 83.4. And he had a surprisingly bad accuracy of 72.2. I guess he was having an off tournament because he only had half out of 4. And he lost quite a bit of rating himself. So this wasn't his day. And it happens. But at least for me, it felt good to win a game and not to either draw or lose all the games. So I was happy that I won, and I stop the bleeding on my rating. I ended up losing only 13 points versus like at least 20 from what I predicted earlier. So I went from 1981 to 1968, and I'll put the rating results in the description. So we end the tournament with a score of 2 out of 4. Kind of mediocre, kind of what we usually get in tournaments like this. Could have played better against some people, but yeah, that's how it is. I mean, I'm happy with my score, happy we won this game, but there's always room for improvement. So yeah, if you guys like this video, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, and have a great rest of your day or night. Bye.